Hey, this is Rob Leo, and in this video we're going to take a look at how you can use Screencastify's free editor to blur some content on your video. It's great for when you want to obscure some information. Maybe you want to hide a student's name so they're not personally identifiable, or maybe you want to hide an image so people can't recognize who's in your video. Let's just click Open in Editor. I've already got a pre-recorded screencast here. I'm going to click Open in Editor. It's going to launch my free editor tool. The editor is free. If you have the license account, you can export more than 5 minutes, but the tools are free nonetheless. So I've got a 20-second video here. The first step is to locate the blur icon. If you click it, it's just going to say select a video clip. And what that means is you go down to your timeline where you can kind of see the video is located. And once you click on it, it'll be surrounded by a yellow border, so you know you've selected it. Then you can insert the blur tool. It's also a keyboard shortcut, Control-Shift-B, if you're a keyboard shortcut kind of person. Let's just click blur, and that's going to put this little purple thing on the page here. You can drag this wherever you want. So if you want this to be part of your video throughout the duration, you can drag it to the beginning, and then you can extend it throughout, and that blur will appear throughout the entire recording. You also want to notice, let's just move this over a little bit, that you can add more than one blur. You're not limited to just one thing. Now you should also be able to adjust the intensity of the blur. So I've selected the little blur icon here. Low intensity means it's highly blurred. I don't understand why it's backwards like that, but if you do go to high intensity, you can see that the blur, I'm just trying to obscure this word here, blur, but the intensity is, although it says higher, you can see the word a little bit clearer. So let's go back down to low. Let's also adjust the location of the blur. So I just want to obscure a little bit of my screen. I don't want to obscure the whole thing. I want to get it just right. Maybe we'll do an activity where students have to guess the word. And again, this can be for the duration of your video. If you move the slider around, you can kind of see, oops, I didn't want to do that. You can see where the blur will stop. If you want it to stop at any given point. Notice at this point in my timeline, the word blur is not blurred. Let me zoom in a little bit. Zooming in is going to help focus what you can see on your timeline. So if you wanted to use this slider to zoom in and zoom out, you can kind of extend where this appears. And again, you can drag this for as long or as little as you like throughout the duration of your video. And when you're all set, you can simply export your video. Just note that exporting as MP4 is a pay-for feature, so if you have the licensed version, you can export and download the video as an MP4 file to your computer. Otherwise, with the free account, you want to go to Export to Google Drive. Now, I've noticed when I click this, it makes me refresh the screen. Sure enough, there was an error. Not to worry, you can just refresh. Your work will not have been lost. The zoom in, zoom out obviously was lost, but now I can simply export again to Drive. Give it a new name. And save it. Just like any of your videos, it's saved on Screencastify. It will also, again, we told this to save to Google Drive, so it's going to go to your Google Drive account as well, most likely in your Screencastify folder. And once it's processed, you can either share it directly, as you normally would. It changes the setting to anyone with the link can view. You can copy the link and paste, or you can view your video to preview it to see if you're satisfied with it. If you are satisfied, you can, again, just leave it as is and share it as needed, or you can always reopen the editor and continue to make edits. Let's view the video. Notice it's blurred, it's blurred, it's blurred. At one point, it's going to stop being blurred because I told the timeline to stop. My narration is intact. I'm not playing it for you now. But the blur should end right about there, and we've revealed the magic word, or again, we've obscured private information that we don't want folks to see. Thanks for listening, and I hope you found this useful.